She's running away.
No, she isn't.
No. Fire on that cruiser!
Everyone knows about Lightspeed ramming. This is a huge can of worms and something that good science fiction stories tend to address. And everyone's aware of it by now, as it calls into question everyone from the previous movies too. In fact, the entire concept of space battles, or Star Wars, is now reduced to, why haven't we done this before? But let's look at some details. The captains of the Ninka, Vigil, or Anodyne didn't do this, nor did the slow-moving bombers attacking the Dreadnought. This whole plot, this slow-moving car chase in space, wouldn't have happened if this was a known method of attack. Poe wouldn't have had to do all those silly maneuvers in taking out the point defense cannons on the Dreadnought. But let's say it's rare or hard to do for some reason. So why didn't Hux and the First Order use any of their tens of thousands of ships and Lightspeed Ram the Raddest? In The Force Awakens, why didn't they Lightspeed Ram Starkiller Base? In Return of the Jedi, why didn't they Lightspeed Ram the shield generator on Endor's moon? Then Lightspeed Ram the new Death Star. In The Empire Strikes Back, the Empire wouldn't have had to attack the shield generator and the base on Hoth, and then they wouldn't have had to do a ground assault. Why didn't the Rebels in A New Hope Lightspeed Ram the exhaust port of the Death Star? Heck, you wouldn't even need to target the exhaust port. Why even build a Death Star in the first place when you can Lightspeed Ram multiple ships into a planet and destroy it? And now every possible future Star Wars movie is ruined unless severe lore lampshading takes place, as well as retconning the past movies. You'd have to invent some new technology. Thanks, Ryan. To be fair, the explosion is not that great, so we'd have to assume the Raddest didn't achieve light speed yet. Considering its mass, as a video from Nerdlist points out, if that speed was achieved, everything in the area would have been annihilated instantly.
Alright, shields are up, so they can't hit us from orbit. Use whatever power we've got left to broadcast a distress signal to the outer rim.
The base on Crate can send a signal, but the Raddest can't. So think about this. They needed a base so they could send a powerful message to the outer rim. The Raddest was a giant ship that had shields that were constantly stopping fire from the Supremacy for approximately 18 hours. Remember, they chose this base because it was close and part of the escape plan, and it would magically have some sufficient power to send that message. Answer a simple question. What would have more power? A giant flying spaceship that was constantly stopping attacks from an enemy for about 18 hours with its shields, or a small abandoned base also with enough power for shields since the time of the first trilogy? Now, I'm not saying the base on Crate couldn't do it, since it obviously does, but what was stopping the Raddest from sending that signal?
A battering ram cannon. A what now?
Why is the battering ram cannon advancing? First, we have to assume any kind of planetary bombardment won't work because of shields, as Poe points out.
Alright, shields are up, so they can't hit us from orbit.
Not sure why they're not bothering to try, but okay, let's give the narrative that.
Fire on the base!
So why is a gigantic laser cannon thing trying to get in range? It's a laser. It moves at the speed of light. The giant metal door is, well, big. Just park the laser and fire away.
They'll get our message, they'll come. But we have to buy time. We gotta take out that cannon.
How do they plan to take out the cannon? What's the strategy? What are their weapons? What are their assets?
What do you got?
Rotted munitions, rusted artillery, some half-gutted skim speeders.
Okay, what are the rotted munitions? Are they even functional? Can they take out a walker or a battering ram cannon? How about the rusted artillery? How about the gutted skim speeders? Do the guns on these lookouts work?
That armor's too strong for blasters.
Not even A-Wings in The Empire Strikes Back were strong enough to penetrate this armor. They had to trip them with tow cables. Again, what's the plan of attack? What's the path to victory? All these infantry run outside and get in the trenches with rifles. Are they going to attack the battering ram cannon with these rifles? Or is that even going to be effective? Usually this is for infantry versus infantry. They're going to shoot other people with them. But the First Order isn't advancing with people. It's advancing with tank-like walkers, this cannon, and with TIE fighters. This was a ship that Finn and Rose came in. Everyone was shooting it with rifles. No damage was being done to it. What are these guys doing out there? Can someone please tell us the plan of attack and how it's going to work? You see, without any hope of causing any damage, we have no stakes.
You've told us nothing. Tell us that we have a plan. That there's hope.
Hope is like this.
This is just people stupidly running outside to their death or running around in circles. There's no tension here. It's like, what are they trying to do and how are they going to do it? We don't know. Remember, the only liability are the people themselves. They are the resistance. No other equipment or the base itself, that's unimportant. Just the people inside. And they all go outside in front of the big defensive wall. They all run outside into the trenches with rifles with no plan to get themselves killed. Let's say the Battering Ram Cannon makes a hole in the shield. Okay, great. Now you've got this choke point. The First Order still has to get out of their walkers, or however they land on the planet to get there, and walk over, and then get inside, and then try and kill everyone inside. Simply doing nothing would have been the better plan.